Hello, beautiful light workers. How are you today? Welcome to Friday. Today I'm going to talk about loads of different things. This will not be boring. This will be interesting. I promise you. Come and join me. So I've got lots and lots of things to mention, and they're not going to come in any particular order. Okay? I think that we are in some really, really interesting moments. I believe that the year 2021 is going to be exceptionally interesting for all the right reasons. But let's start with just something I've noticed. I know that 2020 was a year in which personally I spent an awful lot of time invested in creating, okay, and that hasn't stopped. But what I've noticed is that since the turn of the move into the age of Aquarius, I've noticed this tremendous two things: a tremendous surge of energy. I have never had so much energy as I have now. How are you feeling? Have you noticed an energetic shift? Because I have. And the other thing I've noticed is this. You know, somebody, a guy that I was on the course with said, on the ayahuasca course, said the age before the age of Aquarius was the age of I am. And then the age of Aquarius is I know. Okay? And what I've noticed is that since the turn of the year, I have stopped trying to find out information that I don't need to know anymore, because I already know it. Okay? And it's just that kind of like, I do not need now. You know, I spent a lot of years looking at the bad stuff, you know, the shadow of the shadow side of our world. Now I don't need to. And it's this sense that I get that I feel quite relaxed, like I'm okay. I know what I need to know. And now it's time to look toward the light, I suppose, you know? And that's kind of where I find myself, and what I'm seeing is in other people, it's almost like it's time to cleanse, and people are cleansing, getting rid of all of the shit out of their lives, stopping all of it. You know, I went through all of my feeds and I took out everything that was making me feel down, because I don't want to feel down. And so that's what I've noticed is also, for example, my wife, she's come off Facebook, and I've noticed this big shift in her, in her energy. And she's not angry like she was before, you know, that frustrated anger that we get, because she came off it. And suddenly the conversations we have are really building conversations. We're sharing things that we've seen, good news. Okay, there's still frustrating moments. But I just noticed that there definitely has been a shift in perception and in what's interesting to look at and what's important to look at. I'd be interested to know what your feelings are since we've come through into this age of I know. Because when we know, we do not need to spend all of our time trying to know more. What we do is we spend our time now doing. You know, once you know, then you do. Okay? I am still seeing so many repeated numbers. It's out of this world. What about yourselves? Are you still seeing repeated numbers? 1111 is a number that seems to be standing out apart, and my wife sees the same two numbers. They stand apart, but I do see lots and lots of repeated numbers. And I also see 2112, and it always makes me think of the Rush album. Rush, the group Rush, probably they'll all be dead now, but the Rush album 2112. Okay, and that I don't know why, it just makes me think of that album, but I see that number. If anybody knows the significance of 2112, obviously it's that reads the same backwards and forwards. There's a name for those things, you know, that they read the same backwards and forwards. So I'd be interested to know what you were like. So I count on my mum being the voice of the population. Why do I do that? Well, my mum is she knows there's something wrong, and that she's representative of the vast majority of people know that there's something wrong. She doesn't trust, but she also watches the news all day, and so she kind of has this horrible, she's a twanger. Okay, she twangs backwards and forwards. Oh, it's true. Oh, what? Anyway, what happened the other day was in the UK, an article came out in the newspaper talking about the vast, gross exaggeration of the Rona, the numbers, and how they've been co-opting any death and just calling it a Rona death, when of course it isn't. Well, the lady, the news reporter who wrote the article was talking about her father who had died at 92 or something, and they put down on the death certificate that he died of the Rona, and she said, absolutely not. This is disgusting, because he had like multiple issues and Alzheimer's and everything like that. So then hundreds of people have written in saying that they've had exactly the same situation. 3 people are taking the hospital or the coroner to court because of the lie, okay? And 1 person's won the court case. So what my mum said, and this was what I thought was important, she said, and we, because my mum's 82, she said, we are here stuck at home because of what they have been saying to us, and then we discover that they've been exaggerating it. Okay, she did say, I know that there's something, but I think they're exaggerating it. Okay, now that is the thought of the masses. That's where the masses are. Okay, and this is important because I'm going to tell you something later on. The masses are at a point of losing confidence in the media, and losing confidence in what they're being told in the governments. Okay, so that was interesting. Then Liz also mentioned that the Metropolitan Police had said that they were not going to police the activities outside. They couldn't. It was too much, trying to keep people separated and send them home and all of that. Because the Metropolitan Police, just as all of the police, are starting to become hated. They're starting to be hated, right, by the people, because they're trying to enforce something that is unfair and unmanageable, and people are not liking it. Now what's happening is that if you go on to any video and look at the comments on the video where the police are being forceful and brutal, very often, the comments now are starting to become very, very negative. But the language that I'm starting to see is a language that used to exist a long time ago, when people used to refer to the police as PIGs, and then that went away in the age of political correctness. I mean, plus there was no need to, because it kind of, the whole perception of them changed. But no, I'm noticing it over and over again that people are starting to call them names and starting to use horrible, horrible, horrible words about them. Now, I'm not saying that that's good. What I'm noticing is that that's a fact. And then what does that mean? You see, and this again, I'm going to come to this. They monitor don't underestimate the power of the social media networks and Google and all of that. They monitor every single thing that is happening, and they know what the feeling is. They know what the feeling is of the masses of the world. And so what they're seeing is this shift. There's a shift happening, and they see it by the searches. You can go into Google and find out what the searches were. They'll start seeing the searches, they'll start seeing the keywords that are used, like scam and plandemic and scamdemic and police PIGs and stuff like that. So what's happening is that they're starting to know. Now that's my theory at the moment, is that they're starting to see that, and that's why they're pulling back a little bit. They're starting to pull back because what they can see is the more pressure that they put on people, the more people are waking up. And so if they ease off, maybe that'll stop people from going and investigating, and of course it won't, because it's too late. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Here in Spain, just last week, on primetime TV, one of the people was having a conversation, a very famous man, and he said, when the numbers come out and when the truth comes out about how they've exaggerated the figures, everyone's going to be really angry. It was mentioned on primetime TV. Now, in the media do not mention anything by accident. Everything is planned. There are no investigative, hard to say, reporters anymore. They read scripts. They are actors. And when they mention something, it is mentioned on purpose. Okay? So what I'm saying is this. I'm saying like this push to add to that the WHO now have just recommended that the cycles for the PCR test be reduced from 35 to 22. Why? Because the maker of that very test said anything over 22 and suddenly you're finding all kinds of crap. And already he said that you can't use that test. Right, let's be honest. He said that the test wasn't valid for what they're using it for. But when it's at 35, then that's when you start getting 80 to 90 or more false positives. When it's at 22, nothing. Okay? And so what's going to happen is, remember that the whole basis of everything that they're saying is based on cases. And when those cases start to drop, which I just saw some stats in the UK or in Spain, and the cases and everything are down. Everything's down. Everything's down. Now, if they reduce those cycles, the same thing's going to happen. They're not going to find any more cases, and it's going to peter out. Okay? So I see this on purpose, a reduction on purpose, which is good. But be aware that they have their agenda of why they're doing it. Why? Because they are waking the masses up, and they don't want to. They don't want to. It's too dangerous. Okay? We're getting very close to the peaceful rebellion. We're getting very close to a peaceful revolution. And it's coming. So, that brings me to... I was thinking about this, about them looking at the algorithms and looking at the searches that people make, etc., and getting a sense of where the population is. And it reminded me of a guy that I used to watch a few years ago called Cliff High. Now, Cliff High is somebody who, he's done loads and loads of work. He does work on cryptocurrency and all of that. But what he did was he developed a system which would sort of drag through all the internet and would take keywords that people were using in searches. But it was more than just looking at keywords. His system is to take that and actually forecast the future. Because what he says is it's almost like looking at the collective unconscious. And we don't know that we are being drawn to search for things that are coming up because everybody knows the future. Would you believe we all know the future on a certain level, like a higher consciousness level? So that's what he does, and he's done it, and he basically foretells the future based on very, very solid what he calls data sets, which are data sets of language used. So I did a quick search for Cliff High's latest stuff, and his site is called Cliff High on YouTube, and there's a video called Year Woo, which is this year 2021. And what he does is he starts extrapolating his data sets for this year. Absolutely fascinating. And what's really fascinating, he was doing this in February, I think. I'll put the link for the video in this video, but I recommend you watch it. But what he's talking about is the period from now, March, through spring to summer. And he was talking about the whole year, but he said that during this period of time, the media is going to be in big trouble. Why? Because the ratings of the media are dropping. It's just exponentially. The people aren't interested in the news anymore. Why? Because all they talk about is effing Rona. isn't it? Like, bad news, bad news. People only watched it mostly because of the Mr. T. Really. Now he's gone, so there's nothing interesting. I mean, who wants to watch Biden? I mean, who wants? I mean, I would have more pleasure watching a flower wilting on my windowsill than watching him attempting to string two words together behind 7 masks. So, what Cliff High is saying is that there's going to be this period between March and June, very, very interesting. And he talks about the global population, and basically the global population is going to turn on the media, and the media is going to get to a place where it has no credibility because it's trying to lie. And what he was mentioning, that because of them hiding the adverse effects of this all over, but there's going to come a point where it's going to come out, but not come out through the media, come out because everybody's going to be aware of somebody who's been severely damaged. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. And he talks about a global revolt, okay? And then he talks about later on other stuff coming out, talks about Antarctica and UFOs and all kinds of stuff like that. To me, that's fascinating. But the key thing for me, the bit that I love, and this is why the group that we formed in Telegram is called the Peaceful Rebellion. That's why my album that I've just brought out is called Peaceful Rebellion. This is the answer. The answer to everything is through our peaceful rebellion. It is through us saying no, because the power of our no to that, yes to this, the power of that is endless. It is what can control the world. Truly, truly. We are the controllers of the world if we only but knew it. And this is what's going to happen. We're going to start to realize, and then, what will the media do if half of the world turns them off? Just turns them off. What will they do? What will they do if half of the world begins to attack them? Literally. And Cliff High is suggesting that it's not just a nasty tweet. In fact, it's a lot more than that. So already we've got these mega rumblings going on. We've got, I saw some videos of people in other countries just taking to the streets. I think it was in Amsterdam or Rotterdam, I don't know. But people just going to the park, off with the mask, all having a party and stuff them. Okay? The same in Ireland. In Ireland, the streets were heaving with people in this supposed horrible lockdown, just heaving with people, all chanting and dancing. I saw another video of the police trying to coerce people into going home, and the people were, there was no fear in the face of these people. This is so important. Remember that these people who are trying to police it can measure what's going on with the people. There were 2 ladies, because they always attack the ladies. I don't know if you noticed, they go for the ladies, yeah. 2 ladies just standing there, and they were saying, go home, we are trying to be nice to you, we want you to go home, leave this place. And they were going, no, we're here, we're just standing here. And this is just this massive shift that I'm seeing, and it's absolutely beautiful. And this is going to be our year. This is what I believe. This is going to be our year. This is going to be our year to take back our sovereignty. This is going to be our year for the truth to start to come out. Now, I hear rumblings from the other people who still talk about, the military and all of that, and the letter 17 and the alphabet and all of that. And they've got their story to tell. Okay? So there's an awful lot of things going on. But the key thing, and this is what this is all about, the Age of Aquarius, is that it's time for us to act. It's us. Because we are the majority, we are the power, we have the ability to actually change everything. And so, and remember that the group of sheep that are just doing what they're always going to do, remember that they will follow whoever has the loudest voice. Okay, the majority of them, they'll be, the stalwarts will still be there. Okay, Robert, a psychic from Barcelona, I don't know, I shouldn't say it like that, Barcelona. He says that by 2025, everybody will be awake that's going to be awake. Everybody will be awake, and there will be the group of people that have chosen not to be awake, and they will continue to do their stuff, okay? But we're in this is the turning, we hit the turning point. All right, look, it's still going to be a bumpy road. We're still going to have problems. There's still going to be shit to deal with. But we're heading in the right direction now. There's a shift going on. There's a movement going on. Everything's changing. And it's changing within us. And it's changing within mankind. Okay? So we can be positive. Please, if you are a positive person, and if you're watching this channel, and my guess is that you are anyway, come and join us in our Telegram group. We've got this beautiful group that is so self-supporting. Everybody is there offering good news, offering great advice, offering hope. Okay? And also when people are down, offering support. So come and join us. You'll enjoy it. These small communities are what are going to keep us together. This is what we have to start doing now. Coming together, as the Beatles used to sing. Come together right now. Okay? So, I'll see you in Telegram, or I'll see you on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.